Is everybody here? Sorry, guys. I did a live this morning, and I had to come back in disguise because the Facebook police are onto me. So I did a video this morning, and I hadn't done a Facebook Live video in a while. And so I was like, got up the nerve, and I did it. And then Facebook took it down because of, I don't know, I threw some links in there or something. So I reposted that video without the links. There's a link in this video above, but I wanted to do kind of a, I guess a follow-up so that I could at least have a live video and say I did a live video today and that it's actually there. So basically what I had done this morning was created a digital farm to overlap with a print farm. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to take those audiences. Let's see. Share the old screen here. I'm kind of just going to take that to the next level, which is, so I think you can see my screen, yeah. So what goes on here is that I am going to take, so this is the campaign that I did earlier, J&B brand awareness, and it's running to a farm area. You know, that we're sending postcards out to. So I did add, since then, I added a couple of individual videos to that campaign. So you can see here within that campaign, I have, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many videos up and running. Now, super easy. That's all to that farm ad set, right? So now what I want to do is I want to take that same video content and I want to put it in front of different groups of people. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to run through, I'm going to upload a prospect list, and then I'm also going to add some groups based on engagement with both Instagram and Facebook, and then also do a target of people, friends of people who like a page who also meet additional criteria. So first thing I want to do is create my audiences. So if you go into your business manager here and you go to audiences, it'll give you a list of all the different audiences you have. And up here, this is create audience. I'm going to hit custom audience. Now that will show me the different types of custom audiences that I can create. So usually what I'll do is if I'm running a farm and I have this video advertising for brand awareness, I'm going to run that to my farm. I'm going to run it to a couple different custom audiences based on engagement, website traffic, or individual files that I upload, as well as you know, those friends of likers. So I'm going to start with my customer file. This is kind of neat. If you have a large database or an old database or a spreadsheet from an open house or all this crap that you have laying around and you have all these spreadsheets and CSV files, you can actually compile them all into one. And then what you're going to do is I'm going to say, add customers from my own file or copy and paste data, I think, right? So I'm going to say upload file here. And I know that I have one called JMB something or other, JMB prospects. This is just a prospect list that my homegrown Mercedes sent over to me, that this is for a farm in the farm that I was running in Minnesota. So this is just a list of prospects that they've gotten over, you know, over the past year or so, people that, you know, are really just sitting on a spreadsheet that are part of their, you know, their follow-up plan and whatnot. So what we're going to do is we're just going to stay in front of those people digitally. And what I'm going to say here is select the origin of this upload. I'm always going to say directly from consumers because that's where they come from, not because it's the easy way to go. But yeah, they just don't, you know, if you're getting it from third parties and things like that, Facebook, this is a new thing after, you know, that whole thing, they're sitting with Congress and all that crap. So just to be safe, I always do directly from consumers, but also I don't buy data from third parties and that sort of thing. So all of those, you know, our prospect lists are all self-generated. Hit next there. Super simple. I'm just going to say first name. This is first name, last name, the other fields populated. So I'm not going to know exactly who ends up in this audience, but what is going to happen is Facebook's going to run those email addresses and phone numbers through their database, and they're going to match them. So you can have, this is just a small list, but I can have as many different lists as I want. I can pile them all into one list. I could go in and I can add people. So if I were to go into here and say edit, I could say add customers or remove customers. Pretty convenient stuff. And that's, a lot of times we have this data, even sphere lists, right? I go into my phone and I pull all my contacts and all my email contacts from old email addresses and stuff like that and create audiences based on them. It's the same thing as, when you go through and you call in your sphere, right? You're going to pick up your phone. You're going to say, hey, man, I don't know if you heard, but, I'm in the mortgage business or I'm in the real estate business. And, I was just seeing if you knew anyone looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate this year. And people tell you, no, leave me alone, F off. I don't want to be friends with you anymore. And so that happens, right? And so what we're doing here is kind of making that a secondary step where I'm just going to keep myself in front of these people that are in my sphere and let them know consistently that I'm in the mortgage business, I'm in the real estate business, I'm in whatever, the insurance business, whatever business you're in, you're just going to stay in front of them, right? So that's what we're doing there is by uploading those lists. So any list that I have, email addresses and cell phone numbers, just a couple little things, shoot me a message if you have any issues with that. I remove the dashes and the spaces and all that to kind of make it clean to upload. But that's my first custom audience. It's going to be that JMB prospects. The other one that I'm going to do here is for engagement. And I'm just going to do the main ones. There's a lot of little things we can get into here. And I've done, videos on that in the past. I'll probably do some more in the future because repetition is key. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start with Instagram, and I'm then going to say, okay, I want anyone who engages with my Instagram profile for, is a year a little aggressive? Probably, but let's do maybe I do 90 days, maybe Insta 90-day engager. So I just name my audience as whatever I want there, just so I can find them. I'm going to create that one. And the hope is that once you get someone engaging, that you keep them engaging. So that 90-day window means that, I'm going to put a lot of stuff in front of them, and hopefully they engage with something else during that time. And basically, you're just going to show up more and more to the people that matter, right? The people that like you, your super fans, your sphere, your friends, family, loved ones, strangers who love you. I don't know. Once you get into that digital world, it gets weird, man. So I'm gonna go here, custom audiences. Now I could also, do similar audiences and that sort of thing. I'm not gonna mess with those too much today, but maybe in the future, one day we will. So the other one here, I'm gonna do engagement, and I'm gonna do Facebook page. So this is kind of the same thing, people who engage with your Facebook page. Here, JMB, Realty Group, same thing, 90 days. I'll do JMB 90-day engager Facebook, right? So all these custom audiences that I create, right, I'm going to run them under one ad set. So one ad set's going to have a whole list of any custom audience that I create. And once I have it up and running, whenever I have a new one, right, someone new comes in or something, and I want to add them, I can really easily just add another custom audience and add that to that ad set. Or remove people, maybe, someone says, I see you everywhere, you're annoying, or they're like creeping on my stuff and saying like, look at this creep, blah, 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 and then I got to remove them. I can do that too, So I'm going to say create audience. Now I have 3 custom audiences there, right? So what I am going to do is I'm going to go back to, let's see. Just do it this way because that's the way I normally do it. I thought I had a shortcut there, but I just click around. So now what I have here, right, I have my campaign. I'm going to click on that link into my campaign. That's going to bring me to this middle category, ad sets, right? And that's ad set Ramsey Farm. So your ad set is where you're setting your budget and your targets, so your demographics. So this particular one, the farm is set towards, an actual farm area. When I duplicate that, I'm going to duplicate this ad set. And what that's going to do is that's going to pull all those ads with it, right? So 7 ads, 10 ads, whatever I have in that original ad set are going to get pulled over. And you can see this here's my original, and this here's the copy that I just made. And I'm going to say, I call them custom/engager, right? So these are my custom audiences and engagement audiences. You could really do like a smaller budget on this sort of thing because you're not in that bidding situation like you are. I normally do $2-3 a day on a campaign like that. My farm budget I'll probably end up bringing down too because there's only like 2,000 people there. So it's just kind of, keeping it about the same. So what I'm doing here now, instead here, I'm going to say, I don't want just, the 1 mile there around 7601 that I did in my farm video earlier that Facebook so rudely took down. What I am going to do is I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to say people who live in this location. And I'm going to do Ramsey, Minnesota. And I'll do a 25-mile radius around there. And then I'm going to do Blaine, Minnesota, because that's where my homegirls are at, out there in Minnesota. So I don't know. I might bring that out a little bit. I'm going to start with that around there and see. Now what I'm going to pop in here in my custom audiences, I'm going to say JMB, and I'm going to do this list. Now, actually, since I'm doing this nationally, I'm just going to keep this. I'm just going to do everyone. I want everyone to see me. So I'm going to go to United States because I'm using those custom audiences. So I was thinking what I do when I'm going to do after this, I'll do friends of people who like your page, and then I'm going to fine tune that a little bit. But these, since they're people that are engaging with you on Facebook or Instagram already, as well as prospect lists, I mean, maybe I have referral partners or family in other parts of the country. I want people to see me. And as long as those audiences aren't getting super huge that, I'm showing up, I'm spending obscene amounts of money to show up to, people that are never going to use me in random other worlds. Now, everything else I kind of just leave, right? Everything else stays the same. Publish. And that is just a duplication of that entire campaign. It's going to take a minute here for the old Facebook to fire it off, but it's pulling everything, right? It's all those ads that I did before, it's pulling. Now, if I want to go through, I can go through and change each one of those ads individually, the text and, and the video, right? And I can add to it. So I'll show you at the end here. If I add a new video, I can add it to all my ad sets at once, which makes it really relatively easy to continue to grow your content library, right? So that's what the end goal here is, to have a couple really good ad sets and then just keep throwing content out there so it sprinkles and sprinkles and sprinkles and goes all over, right? Because that's what you want, top of mind, right? It's the same thing. This is the same concepts that have been going on forever, right? So it's not reinventing the wheel. It's not anything crazy, right? It's just knowing how to do it, right? Used to be I could send postcards out and I'd send them and I'd keep sending them and I'd keep sending them and I'd keep sending them, and eventually I'm staying top of mind. People will pick up the phone and call. Now digitally what we've done is kind of made that cheaper, essentially, is what happens. I can reach more people at a lower cost. And that's what I'm looking to do, right? Save money and spend money. It's not something that where you could say, oh, well, I don't want to spend any money. Well, you know what? I don't know a business in the world that makes money without spending it. So I don't know. Go work for someone else, I guess, that does want to spend money and be an employee. That's cool. But if, in sales, we are kind of self-driven and self-motivated and, have to kind of take that on ourselves. So this is a good way of doing it. So I get rid of that one now. Now you'll see that's in review. That's my custom/engager audience. Now, what I could do again is, and see, I'm still in this middles, right? So I still have my campaigns here. I go into the campaign. I have my ad set. I'm going to duplicate another one. I'm going to duplicate another one. There we go. And this one, I'm going to say duplicate. And there it is again, right? So same thing. I'm going to set my budget. Only this time I'm going to narrow this down a little bit. and I'm going to say people who live in this location, and I'm going to do Blaine, Minnesota, and Ramsey, Minnesota. Now, who knows? I might, bring that up or down depending, right, the size of there. I feel like 25 miles is a pretty, good radius. In Minnesota, who knows? I don't know. It's the land of a million lakes and whatnot. It's all spread out. So maybe they'd go a little bit further, and I could go a little bit further out, right? Maybe I want to go a 30-mile radius, right? And we want to go a 30-mile radius, right? Whatever it is, I can go 50 miles, 100 miles. I can set that to whatever you want. But what I'm going to do here, I'll bring my age range up a little bit. Now, what's cool, I'm going to go to connections, and I'm going to say friends of people who like your page. Oh, no. Oh, there we go. I'm on now. See, they got me all set up. I hadn't, when I did that video earlier, I hadn't accepted the powers that be yet. So now I have the powers that be. I'm saying I want friends of people who like my business page, right? Secondary sphere. Now, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to fine tune that out. So right now I'm saying I want friends of people who like my business page who also live within 30 miles of Blaine, Minnesota and Ramsey, Minnesota. And I'm going to fine tune that out. I'm going to also say only people that speak English. Now, that's not because of anything other than that. I only speak English. And, I think as far as I know, Jess and Mercedes only speak English too. I don't know. Maybe they speak Spanish. I can add that in. I can add in Spanish. If I do speak another language, I am definitely adding those in, right? Because normally I'm going to get a good return on an additional language. Unfortunately for me, I'm an idiot and I only know how to speak one language. I should learn more. But for right now, I'll just focus on English speakers. And for whatever reason, it just makes it, you get better return when you add a language in there. So if I just get a better return by having something there, right? So if I leave it blank, I don't know, it doesn't convert as well. So I always just add English in there, English all, even the Queen's English, let's see, detailed targeting. Now, depending on the size of my audience here, little thing, I'll also type in some of these, realtor sites. This is top secret information, so don't go sharing this with the world. Well, you could share it. No one's gonna pay attention anyway. Realtor.com, Trulia, Zillow, Redfin, whatever. I can add in these additional interests here, right? So what happens is I'm saying, okay, I want people who are friends of people who like my page, who live within 30 miles of my given town, and who also have recently expressed interest in Realtor.com, Trulia, or Zillow. So what I'm getting is I'm going to get a lot of those people that, are within those areas that I have a secondary connection with, right? They know somebody that I know or I've done business with because that person likes my business page. And they also have been on Realtor.com, Zillow, Trulia, so they've also expressed interest in real estate. And I can add a couple more in there. I can do like new home or new house or, different interests like that, right? But if I do those big ones, and you can mess around with the different demographics, but normally if I do those big ones, Realtor.com, Trulia, and Zillow, that are the big guys that people are actively searching on their sites, I'm really infiltrating their audiences then, right? Because Facebook and Google know everything. So that's what's funny too. It's like I hear a lot of agents and they're always like, oh, I use Zillow or I use Trulia. All these third parties go through Facebook and Google to generate their business. So you're really just cutting out the middleman. That's all they are, is just a middleman, right? So you cut out the middleman, go straight to Facebook and Google and pay them, as long as you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, don't pay them. That's why I am sharing these little things with you. Don't go all crazy. It's very easy to spend a lot of money on things that don't work. But this does work, and you can do it for a lower cost. So same things. I'm keeping my placements the same, blah, 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 everything. Now, super simple. I just hit publish, and there we are. Well, it takes a minute here, right? You know, because I don't know if Facebook's still mad at me or what's going on, but could be just slow internet. I don't know, but it will 40%, 50%. Here we go. Do, 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 do. 80%. Wow, it's really taking its time today. But at the end of the day, what is all that's happening? There we go. Posted. Now, what I have is 3 individual ad sets running right now, right, within that one campaign. So my campaign is for brand awareness. My ad sets are my farm that we did earlier that Facebook took my video down, and you can click the link above and access that video because now it's back up, link free. There are some links in the comments of that video to different services that I use, but I think there was one that I added later and I didn't like it, whatever. So that's my farm. That's, you know, the same, that's my farm area where we're doing postcard mailers out to, overlapped with digital advertising. My custom / engager is those custom audiences, my customer files, and people who have engaged on my Facebook business page or Instagram business page. And let me just rename this one here. I call it Friends of Likers with Interest. That means that they're friends of people who like my business page who have also expressed interest in my brand or product. Or in real estate, right? Whatever I put in those demographics. So a couple cool things with some of that stuff that I can also do is like, this stuff's good too if you, you know, maybe people that had another business, right, or something, and you know, maybe you were in another line of work or another business and you have contact lists, you have, you know, email addresses and phone numbers of people that you know, you've done business with in the past, and now you put additional content in front of them instead of you going through and saying like, hey, you know, remember when, you know, you did this, or I DJ'd your party, or I, whatever your other line of business is, maybe you're a photographer, right? I took pictures at your wedding, right? Now instead of you calling up and being like, hey, I took pictures at your wedding, I just wanted to let you know that, you know, I also sell real estate. You're kind of going after that sphere from a different angle. You're just kind of taking yourself and you're putting your video in front of them, and they're going to say, hey, isn't that the photographer from our wedding? Oh, that girl was awesome, or that guy was awesome. You know, let's give them a call. They're actually in real estate. It's really strange, super powerful stuff. It will change the way you look at the world. And now it's my time to go. Back into disguise, flying under the radar.